My article that I picked for the second critique is from the Journal of Music of Research in Music Education, and it is called Differences in the Myers-Briggs Personality Types Among High School Band, Orchestra, and Choir Members. And this article is about a test that was given, the Myers-Briggs Personality Test, given to high schoolers. And I thought it was really interesting that McClellan, the author and the demonstrator of this study, chose high schoolers to do this test, and that he mentions that there isn't much, or at the time there wasn't much, information about high school personality types and how it affected different groups, such as the personalities of the bands and the orchestras and the choirs. And so I thought this article was really, really interesting and kind of hit home for us teachers always trying to figure out how our students' personality types are to be the most effective teachers we can. And this study was started with the idea of different studies that have been done with different tests of personality types among ensemble players in the past, but this one is more focused on students who have had at least a year of experience within the ensemble itself, as well as students who have only been in one ensemble. The participants of this study, there were about 349 by the end count, between students who only had a year of ensemble and discluding ones who were in multiple ensembles at one time. There were about 143 in band, 99 students in the orchestra, and 107 of the students were choir students, and they all ranged between the ages of 9th grade and 12th grade. And they were given a chance to participate in multiple ensembles, though, as McClellan says in his article, only less than 2% were indeed in multiple ensembles at the time. Those students who weren't in two ensembles were allowed into the study, and the ones who were enrolled or previously enrolled within multiple ensembles were not used in the study. And the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator Form M was the test that was given to the students. It is the most recent form of the test, and it also allows the students to choose between which way they're going to lean within the personality type test. It gives them a choice rather than a yes or no answer or some exclusive answer choice. But it focuses on the 4 letters in most that you see in most personality types, or the 4-letter combinations of extroversion versus introversion, intuition and sensing, feeling and thinking, and perceiving and judging. But whereas most music educators have found out, they've, instead of taking the 4 letters combinations, they have started using 1 letter as its own importance, rather than taking someone who is extroversion with sensing and thinking and perceiving, or some other combination. They focus the importance on each letter themselves. And this test was conducted in February and March of 2009, and the students were also given a demographic type information sheet. So the provider, the leader of this study, had a reference as to whether they were male or female, how many years experience they had in an ensemble, and if they had ever had experience being enrolled in another ensemble. And the results were very interesting. I was surprised at them, and it showed that most of the students leaned more towards extroversion, intuition, feeling, and perceiving over introversion, sensing, thinking, and judging. And it also showed that 59% of the band, 54% of orchestra, and 79% of the choir students leaned more towards the extroversion, though none of the other factors such as intuition, sensing, feeling, thinking, perceiving, and judging, they didn't have a significant difference between each group. And what McClellan also did is he surveyed students who were in an ensemble versus students who were not in an ensemble, and found that there was a significant difference in personality types between these two groups. He found out that the band students scored higher and leaned more towards the intuitive and the feeling and perceiving. Orchestra students were higher in the intuitive and the feeling, and the choir students were more extroverted and intuitive and feeling than students who were not in ensembles. And he also found out that the females in the groups leaned more towards feeling, while the males leaned more towards perceiving. And I think it was very interesting, and it has, as McClellan stated in his own article, broadened the research of this topic, of the idea of how personalities can be affected, or what type of personalities are drawn more towards different ensembles, and how they're differentiated within each one. And I think this is a very important study, because as teachers, like I said, we always want to provide the best teaching style to suit our students and find the most effective way to teach, along with understanding our students and how they learn. And I think personality types are definitely a very, very interesting thing and good thing to go off of, because not everyone learns the same. And knowing an overall ensemble's personality type by viewing the individuals creates an even more effective and open way of teaching. I do think, however, that it would be interesting to see another study or an expansion of this study where a non-ensemble player is introduced into an ensemble, to see if their personality, being within that group dynamic and being within an ensemble, changes their personality type before and after they've been in the ensemble for extended period of time. And I really think that it would be interesting, and it would strengthen the study even more so, and make it more important to not just music teachers, but all teachers.